All right, folks. Hello and welcome to this hurricane or just tropical system short summary. Um, I think that this may be the first tropical storm that I've covered that has been notable enough to have its own video. On 1983's Octave, as I explained in the season summary of the 1983 East Pacific season, was pretty notable in its own right, as well as Tico, also of 1983, of course. And I debated on whether I should make a video of those two storms. So I finally decided that yes, I should. These two storms are pretty notable in their own rights. So here I am with 1983's tropical storm Octave. Now, just from the track, you would really suspect nothing of Octave. Pardon me. Octave forms on the 27th of September and becomes a tropical storm late the next day and would curve, as we see, it curves more, instead of moving out west, curves back inwards to the north due to a close by low pressure. Low pressure on low pressure action tends to bring the two together, and this kind of happens with high pressures as well. So opposites in this case tend to not attract. It's essentially the opposite way that magnets work, where that uh, the same things attract and opposites repel. So, you know, which is confusing, yes. Now, only 6 hours after becoming a tropical storm, Octave peaked still only as a tropical storm, but peaked at 50 miles per hour, sustained winds, of course, at an unknown pressure, which is annoying for me. I don't know. I just like to know the pressure of systems because I'm weird, I think. What we do know is that Octave would then accelerate northwards into not only cooler waters but also some much higher shear. Tropical systems, to a point, absolutely despise shear. It will literally just break it apart. And this happened with Octave. Octave dissipated on the 2nd of October. So overall, Octave did not really last all that long. So, what makes this thing so notable? The amount of rain that it brought was pretty staggering. We would see with this rainfall chart here, uh, around a foot in both the United States and Mexico, with Mexico getting over 12 and a half inches and Arizona seeing 12 inches of rain. All of this would cause 14 deaths as well as 975 injuries. Additionally, $513 million in damage done. Yes, that is 1983 US dollars. The thing that this tropical system truly did, of course, was the just significant amounts of rain and flooding in both Mexico and Arizona. Documentation on what happened in Mexico is not as prevalent as the impact on the United States, so we're going to be focusing on that a little bit more. Arizona saw more than 6 inches of rain within just 2 days, which for Arizona being part of a desert, despite a monsoon or not, doesn't matter. It's a lot of rain. Tucson specifically saw more than 8 inches, and as we see in this graph, Mount Graham got 12 inches of rain. Now, this was compounded by the fact the monsoon season had been pretty wet as well, so you already have pretty saturated soil getting even more rain, which it cannot absorb as quickly, so there's a bunch of issues there. More on Tucson is that it reportedly got flooded with up to 8 feet of water, which is absolutely insane to think about. And Octave would contribute to some of the worst floods ever seen in Pima County. Now, where is Pima County? I have no idea. It's definitely somewhere in Arizona, though. Note that the Santa Cruz, the Relito, and Gila rivers crested to record levels and also saw some record flow rates as well. These rivers combined com- practically completely destroyed the communities of Clifton, Duncan, Winkleman, Hayden, and Marana. And from all of these cities, 3,000 buildings were destroyed, with another 2,052 damaged. This, all of this in total, caused Octave to be one of the very few tropical systems in specifically the East Pacific Basin to cause more than $500 million in damage. Very few storms have done this, as, first of all, not many storms curve back east, and secondly, even if they do, they're usually not as intense. Granted, Octave is kind of an outlier in intensity here. Octave only reached tropical storm intensity, which is crazy to think about. This is very similar to what Allison did in, what, 2001? Which I'll definitely be making a video of. One thing to note is that there was complications with broadcasting warnings in the United States. In Arizona, there was just a not very well defined system to broadcast, which did not help things at all, as you can imagine. This storm was afterwards described locally as a storm of the century, and it is very easy to see why, with all of the damage done. That is absolutely insane. This tropical system is most likely, and still to date, one of the worst systems to ever affect Arizona. And hopefully, it is to stay that way, of course, as you don't necessarily wish anything this monumental to happen. I certainly don't. I have family that lives there. But in any case, that is all that I have for Tropical Storm Octave. I will see you all in the next one, and I thank you all so much for watching. And as of course, all of the sources that I have will be in the description. Again, thank you all so much for watching.